Okay, so welcome everyone to our HSTP Steering Committee meeting. It is 12:02, and we'll start with the first agenda item, and I'll go through roll call, and then anyone whose name I don't call that's not officially on my list, then I will go around the table to recognize. Okay, so if you're here, just let me know. Shelly Entrikin. Here. Barb Long. Audra Miles.
Here.
You know what? Let me pause the roll call. Can someone, let's see, someone say something online. Let's test out the speakers.
Hear me?
Can you hear me?
I think we might need to fix the speakers. And let's make sure our speakers are working, because I don't think we don't.
Did you say Chris Mitchell?
Chris, they're having problems with the speakers they're trying to fix.
Oh, that's fine. Thanks. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay, perfect. And now I will go back to my roll call. So I've got you, Audra, as virtual. Joe Coffin. Here. Craig Boynton.
Here.
Hannah Fuchs. David Luters.
Here.
Mary Patton. Tracy Dowell. Renee Razzo. Megan Brake. Here. Max Schneider. Tyler Rogers. Don Harper. Alexis Rhodes. Angel Marinich.
Here remotely.
Got it. Dr. Shamra Robinson. Here. Kylie Rathman. Here. Chris Mitchell.
Here.
Connie Sheely.
Here.
Jim Bremner.
Here.
And Greg Cassidy.
Here.
Okay, let me count. Okay, so
Rima, this is Tracy Dowell, and I am here.
got it. Thank you.
Your audio has a echo sound to it.
Okay, thank you, everyone. We're gonna fiddle with the audio just a little bit more. We can hear you, but it's a little bit on the loud side. Okay, that will give me some time to make sure everything's. Okay. We're adjusting our speakers here.
Was that you?
That's okay. I can fix it. Okay, all right, we'll test that out, and if we have any other issues, we'll just fix them as we go. Okay, so, okay, so we have all of our committee members accounted for, and so anyone else around the room, I'm looking. So we got Alison Borland from CEPCO. Yep. And let's see online anyone's name I didn't call. We have Jessica Ortega from Ivy Sill. Jody Vanderhait from CEPCO as well. And then in terms of staff, we have Gabriel Guevara from Tri-County and Ian Chenoweth also from Tri-County. Okay, so we don't have a full quorum, but we can do what we've been doing in the past, which if we don't have a full quorum of the full committee, we can agree to use a quorum of the urban subcommittee. And I did just retake my OMA training, so I know that we have to do one quick extra step for that. But first, I'll generally ask: is anyone opposed to doing a forum of the urban subcommittee in lieu of whole sub?
No.
So the one extra step is that we have to approve the ability for those online to join the meeting. And this would only apply to the urban members, so that would just be Angel, Chris, and Connie. So can I would need a motion and a second to allow virtual. Okay, so we have a motion from Dave Vickers.
Second.
Second from, was that Chris Mitchell?
Yes.
And then from only the urban area subcommittee, can we get a vote from the urban area subcommittee to allow for virtual attendance of the urban members?
Yes. Aye.
Anyone nay?
Aye.
Okay, that's an extra thing, but that is apparently the law, so we're gonna do that. So, moving on to the next thing, which is public comment. Does anyone have any public comment today? Okay, excellent. We are on agenda item 3, approval of the June 4 minutes. So can I get a motion from any urban area members and a second to approve the June 4 minutes?
So moved.
I so moved. Connie.
Second.
Okay, I heard several. I'm going to grab Greg Cassidy, Kylie Rapp. Okay, all right. Are there any comments for the June 4 minutes? Any changes? Okay, hearing none, let's get a all in favor from the urban subcommittee to approve the June 4 minutes. Say aye.
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 Okay, anyone opposed? Motion passed. Thank you for that. And now that we have done all of our administrative items, we'll move on to our first presentation. We have 2 today, so very exciting. We're going to start with Gabriel here at Tri County. And let me share my screen.
All right. So I'm Gabriel with Tri County, and I'm here to talk about our transit audit report. So basically, I'm going to go over the overview of the scope of the audit, our methodology, how we did it, some data results, and then also bring up some bus rapid transit. So basically, for this report, we had our intern Kefra Jackson and our colleague Gavin Hunt ride the CityLink buses from July 2023 all the way to October 2023. And so this report incorporates some quantitative data and some qualitative data. Some limits to this report was that, even though we had 2 people, Kefra was the main person in charge of the report. So it's only one perspective primarily. It happened during office hours, so Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 4:30. So we didn't go over weekend hours or evening service of CityLink. And this primarily was during the summer and autumn. So we don't we don't assess like the challenges like during wintertime for riding the buses. And then lastly, like, Kefra and Gavin were able-bodied people, so we didn't simulate any disabilities and like the challenges that people with disabilities have during riding the bus. So when riding the bus, they assess their trip using 10 factors: connectivity, safety, reliability, wayfinding, multimodality, accessibility, comfort, fare collection, condition, and time ratio. And all of these factors were graded on a scale of 1 to 10. So like during their bus ride, they were looking, and when they got off at a bus stop, they looked at was there a park nearby, was there any employment hubs, things of that nature. They also assessed the condition of the bus, were there any cracks, were the speakers working, was the AC on, that type of thing, and also like the ease of navigating the system, like were they able to like if the app told them like this was a bus stop, like was there appropriate signage and things of that nature. So the methodology, so basically they scheduled the trip using CityLink's apps. Then they would travel to the transit center and then hop on the bus. And then, they would begin creating observations. And then they would take notes. They would talk to other passengers on the bus to like get their perspective and their experience with CityLink. And then, they would get off at a popular stop, and then they would assess the infrastructure of that stop. Is there a sidewalk? Is there a crosswalk? Things of that nature. And then they would talk to passengers about their experiences. Then they would walk to the next stop, hop on the bus again, ride that all the way to the final stop of that route, and then ride that back to the transit center. And so after they finished riding the bus, they graded all the routes and tallied all those scores. And then we created averages. And so like the final score of the entire system it scored a 59.5 out of 100. And then we took the averages of the different factors, and we found out that some of the weakest areas of the system was fare exchange, multimodality, reliability, accessibility, and connectivity. So the qualitative piece of this report came from notes from staff and then testimonies from like other riders. And then looking through the notes from Kefra and Gavin, a lot of the common themes that like kept on like reoccurring were like issues with wayfinding, infrastructure, reliability, driver conduct, accessibility, and bus maintenance. So those were like some of the common themes. There you go. Okay. So with wayfinding, a lot of the issues were mainly like signage, lack of a signage, or like signage not being updated. Infrastructure, a lot of the times, like there wasn't sidewalks or benches. Reliability was just basically the bus not arriving on time. Driver conduct, there were issues with customer service at times. Accessibility, sometimes not enough accommodations with people for people with disabilities. And bus maintenance, just like certain things not working. Maybe the AC was off or were not working that particular ride, or certain speakers weren't working at that time. And so what was it? So like after Kefra and Gavin did the report, they thought of like potential recommendations for CityLink to like possibly look into and consider. And during their research, they came across bus rapid transit, which is basically a framework for bus-based transit to become fast, reliable, and high quality. There's like several elements of BRT, such as directed right-of-ways, busway alignments, off-board fare collection, intersection treatments, intelligent transportation systems, platform level boarding. So like those are, some of the elements of BRT. And even though BRT is like, I guess, considered the ideal system, like Peoria urbanized area isn't like dense enough for like a full BRT transition, but there are some elements that potentially the system could incorporate to become better. And some of those recommendations that they suggested were off-fare collection, incorporating some intelligent transportation system sensors, intersection treatments, and platform docking, and then also doing a bus stop inventory. I think that's it. That's the nutshell. Also too, like, so this was done last year, and we talked to like CityLink, Kofi, and he let me know that there have been some improvements since then. And we plan to like continue to talk with CityLink to like learn about some more improvements that they plan to incorporate into their system. So like, there's also that.
And like Gabe said, it was two people who are not at Tri-County anymore. One of them was an intern, so he has since left, and one of them is out for military duties. So we didn't anticipate to not have either of them, but we have all their notes. So Gabe has gone through all their notes. But if anybody has any questions, this is a summary because there were a lot of like much more detailed things too. Our best to give questions.
Could you elaborate more on the urbanized area where they didn't see that there was a need? Is that the gist of it? Is that what you were saying?
No, so basically, the transit audit, like we wanted to get a sense of like what's the user experience for the buses, what's the how easy is it for people to navigate the system to reach their destinations that they need to go. So like we focused on like the urbanized area. We didn't try to go outside of the urbanized area to like see like, all right, if I'm outside the urbanized area, how do I go inside or vice versa? So like we went wherever the buses were able to go, like that's where our audit went. Okay.
I realized the two had left.
Yeah.
I mean, Gavin should be coming back at
Okay.
a specific time for his service,
Oh,
but it won't be until next year.
oh, wow.
But yeah, we oh, I had a thought. And I didn't overnight. Oh yes, so this will incorporate some of these themes in the active transportation plan. And so that is a document that Gabe has been working on that focuses on walking, biking, and using public transportation just in our, is it the urbanized area?
That one is like the tri-count. So it's like, that incorporates rural experience as well as the urban experience, navigating our transportation system and trying to make it more equitable for like those alternatives.
Good question. So were they just focused on Peoria, or did they do some East Peoria and Pekin where transit is present?
Yeah, like they rode all the CityLink's routes. So, and I think there's like 15 of them. So like I forget which route goes to East Peoria, but they rode that one. I think this one goes to Washington.
It goes to Sunnyland, so like
Sunnyland,
the Sunnyland
yeah, right.
Plaza, and then it turns around and goes back into East Peoria. So that means that they would have gone to generally all Peoria, West Peoria, Peoria Heights, Pekin, and some parts of East Peoria.
So they rode all of them.
Really?
They haven't come to us and said anything.
I heard that there was a thing that Bartonville was considering doing it again.
Oh, okay.
They need
Well, that's
to.
good. We don't know anything. Yeah.
I have a question when it's my turn.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, this is Chris Mitchell, and I rode the 6 route buses for 20 years, and it sounds like they did a really good job. Did any of the customers they contacted share their contact information so they could be contacted for follow-up?
No. They did a couple surveys, and so that's as close as we got.
Well, I think it's really good. It still covers an awful lot of ground. Were there any notes about how having to go off route for construction or the time of the bus being successful? Because when I was riding fixed route, the rule of thumb for drivers was you could be late but never early. And drivers became very sensitive to that, knowing that some people, if they were early, they would miss their bus to work. And some of those drivers aren't working anymore because they've retired out. But, it sounds like they went to an enormous amount of work. And it's one of the best presentations I've ever heard. But, I just appreciate that you went to all that work. And then if we go forward, do we need to support some other kind of open meeting where people could say, I can be contacted because I'm a regular bus rider? Like, I serve on this committee and another one, so I'm an easy person to contact because a lot of people know how to do that. But if we had open meetings, would people be willing to talk about it? Because you can see problems, but you can also see successes, and that's one of the things that really motivates drivers to stay in the job. So anyway, I'm done. Thank you for listening.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, we've never done this process before, so we're happy to take comments to make it better.
I know in the past, when they've done these audits, our agency actually supplied people that would ride the buses to perform the audits. And it was more than 2 people. It was like 1 or 2 people per route to provide more detailed. I don't know if that would be a consideration again. But,
So how did that fund it? Your organization funded it?
we didn't fund it. We were hired by somebody to do the audits. I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago. And my boss actually was like, when I told her about this, she was like, well, we were the ones that usually did that. Why weren't we asked? So I was like, I just thought I'd bring that up. That if there is like any other, is this the only audit that we do for transit? For CityLink?
First one, Tri-County's done.
First one that Tri-County's done. Do you know of any others that have been performed? Okay. I'll have to get more information from my boss about that.
I mean, there's always things that come up, like studies or something like that. But
that might have been. I don't know. I'll have to get more information.
Yeah, like we had a conversation with Kofi maybe like a month ago or something like that. He said that like other transportation agencies or whatnot, like they regularly like do transit audits, just like assess like customer service and things of that nature. So like when we informed him that we did this last summer, he was very excited about it.
The one study that you did have about 3 years ago was a Lockmiller study, and that was a good one too. And I mean, that just pointed out what transit was around the area and who was doing what and what improvements could be made, what things might want to be changed, how you get funding for some of the transit. So that was a real good one too. So if somebody wanted that, they could probably contact you and get a copy of it.
Yep. So that is called the Gray Area Study, and it's on our website.
Yep.
It's just for the Peoria urbanized area because that's how the funding was structured. I'd love to incorporate more than just that because I know this committee has a lot more, but it's a stepping stone. All right, any last questions, comments?
I do have one more, I'm sorry. So this information that we've gathered, where does that go from here?
Yeah, so like I plan to well, it's like a rough draft right now, but like right now it's in draft form, and then I'm gonna have Rima do some edits. But like the end goal is to like have like a physical like report, for people to like look through, to like see like the full like process and all the things that kind of went through like during his experience riding the bus and all that stuff. And then looks like there'll be a final report and it'll be on Tri-County's website or whatever. And then like that report will also be used in our active transportation plan to inform, that document as well.
So like the things where they said, well, things that could be changed or we recommend or we suggest, that would go to where to make those decisions for those changes to be implemented.
I guess it would be in constant communication with the city.
The city, like, okay, got it.
Where possible, you can help get funding to do any of these things. We're not here to just talk city like say, oh, this is all money because everything's connected. So
Right.
To, like use this to make the whole process better, even outside of just.
So if funding were to come, would that then help in the aid of more routes, more times, more drivers? Would that
That's a
help?
whole nother piece then,
That's
so
a
I
whole
can't really
different
say,
piece.
yeah.
Okay.
We have that funding
I'm
for
just trying
that.
to figure out where the two intersect so we can maybe work on maybe third shifters getting to work. I don't know. All right.
Big ideas.
I know.
Necessary, but
Yes.
unfortunately not here yet. Well, thanks for that. We'll move on to our next presentation, which is an update from Jim Berger.
Sure. I know that people in the audience on virtual here won't have this, but we've got Rima's going to send a couple of these copies out to you. So this is just some promotional pieces, some things that are going on in Washington, and just a quick refresher. We all know that we're all an aging society, and a lot of things we're doing now are either for people with disabilities or people of age that have lost mobility and things like that. What couples along with people of age is things like Alzheimer's, dementia, and issues like that. So Washington became a dementia-friendly community. It was a big application we've had to put into the National Dementia-Friendly USA, and then they had to approve what it was we could do. We had to have letters from a lot of the business leaders in town, from the government in town, and send those in for support, give them kind of an outline of a plan of what we were going to do to bring dementia to the community awareness, if you will. So the whole thing starts as that with an application, and then we wrestle with the things of how we're going to get the word out and what are we going to do. And right now we're really on a good track and the fact that people are really getting on board now. We've got several things, a couple of those pieces that I put in front of you. One is that the library has now got some things that Stay Sharp kits. You might have seen something similar to this if you're in AARP. You can find that on their website. They have kind of similar things, but these are things that you can check out at the library. And the library does have a mobile unit so that if people aren't able to come to the library, they can deliver these kits to people and that kind of thing. So that's one of the things the library is trying to do to help people with memory issues. The second piece is 5 ways to be dementia friendly in Washington. And these are things that they put together, things that we've done, things that are in place. You know, the whole thing is making the community aware of dementias out there. And if they run into a challenging situation with somebody who has dementia, how would you address that? What can you do about it? Who do you call? Those kind of things. So that's what it is. And then it's meant to support the dementia side. Is now we've got a dementia support group in Washington that meets at Crossroads Church the 4th Thursday of every month from 4 to 6 p.m. It's for the caregiver as well as the people that have dementia. So there's going to be, they'll separate them and they'll cater to both sides of that, because it's like any other group. You want to let people that when you have something like this in your family, you're not alone. There's support out there. We're here to help you. We want to make you keep people with dementia as a part of the community as long as we can, and that's what it's all about. So I just want to let you know the kind of things that are going on there, and we're moving right along. It's good.
Great. Love to hear it. Anyone have questions, comments for Jim? Appreciate it.
Sure.
Okay, so our next thing is the provider and agency updates. So we'll, as usual, go around the table in person. And if you want to give an update about your organization or what you've been doing in the realm of human service transportation plan, you can. And if you don't have one, that's fine. Just say so. So we'll start with Joe Coffin over here. Do you have an update?
I don't have any updates.
We had some reorganization, so I'll chat with you about switching out Troy Maxwell off of the committee. But otherwise, we got approval on a couple of buses finally, and still waiting on approval of CARES money. We've got a lot of projects out there that we're waiting to tackle for the building over there, but waiting for that CARES money to come in. So
That's good. Shelley?
No updates.
We're moving right along.
Okay, let me hurry then. The pressure's on. Okay, so we just had our 3rd annual ADA WOW celebration, and we had City Lift a part of the event, City Link, Tri-County Regional Planning Commission, Jim with the 5310 City Lift service that's in Washington, and many more. And of course, Epic, because we were able to use their location to have this wonderful event. In the past, we've done it at the Civic Center, but we realized it's kind of hard to find it and feels like the room's swallowing you. So it seemed a little bit more intimate where we had it at. So we had it on Friday, July 26th. It was from 4:30 to 6:30. It was open to the public. I think it went pretty well. We had face painting, balloon animals. We had giveaways, music, education, sandwiches, all kinds of food. And we really wanted to focus it on July 26th, since that's the day it went into legislation in 1990. So we were also celebrating Disability Pride Month. So we're happy about that. And then, let me see, in July, also on the 9th, Senator Durbin and Senator Duckworth they disclosed with the Greater Peoria Mass Transit District CityLink that we had secured about a little bit over $14 million for approximately, because by the time that the buses are actually produced, might be a little bit more to make them. So it'll be about 10 buses is what we're thinking. And it's going to be electric buses. So we're excited about that, but it's going to be about 3 years before we actually see them. So just wanted to give you all that tidbit of information. And then also we are partnering once again in September with the libraries in the area, specifically the libraries that are on our routes. So it'd be like, of course, Peoria, Peoria Heights, Pekin, East Peoria. But on our end, what we're going to do is extend it to anybody that has a library card. So it's called the fine free, fare free. And so we've done this for the last, I believe, 2 or 3 years. And so we'll be working with the library once again, where if you have a library card, then you can ride the fixed route buses at no charge. And then another thing that we're trying to do, because we understand that there's students that come into the Peoria area specifically, to go to college. And they may not be from this community. So we're extending also the opportunity, if you're new to the Peoria area, if you have just a library card, we don't care where it's from, that will also help you to be able to get on the bus with no problem. So spread the word. That'll be all in September.
Nice.
Yep, and that completes my report.
Yeah, we've been to the ADA WOW event 2 years in a row, and then this year we were both out of state.
Wow.
we sent
Yeah.
some other countries.
Yep. It was cool.
I'm glad I went.
Yes, thank you.
So you guys have like.
Do you have any of that information going out to the schools? They're free.
Well, actually, it's not specifically our event, it's the library. Okay. So yeah, they'll probably be doing more of the promoting, but we will have it on social media for sure. Yeah. And then it's just us on our end with CityLink. It's not promoted that way because they have their library logos on here, but just us specifically, we are just allowing everybody to ride free if you just have a library card. We don't care if you lived in Florida, the Dakotas, whatever. Just jump on.
I'm sorry, was that just for one day?
No, it's yeah. And that'll definitely help, people that are just getting back into the workforce as well.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Again?
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't have much to say. Our transit is moving along well in Washington. We've got the 65 plus $3 cab ride anywhere they want to go in the township, as well as the city lift disability side, getting to people within the community and also to East Peoria and Peoria. That's fine. And we are just waiting to see what's going to happen with 5310 grants as they're developing and awarded, and hopefully we'll be in good shape for the coming year.
Allison, Megan, either of you?
Our students will be starting back up in the next week or so, so we'll be back in with left, and we'll be riding buses and getting all those scheduled. So,
What district would that be?
Seafield, so we do we're out of our building.
Oh, okay.
They all ride from their home, so it could be city linked or county.
Oh, okay.
So we do ride.
Let them know.
Yes, yeah, I wrote that
down. Yeah, get on our social.
And I was pretty much going to say the same thing. School's starting in the next week, and so Jim, you might see your rides increase.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're moving online, and I'm just going to go in the order that I see on my screen. So if I say your name, just let me know. If you have anything to update. How about Connie Shealy? Do you have anything? Looks like you're muted.
Yeah, I don't have anything at this time. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to Tracy Dowell.
The only thing that I have to report is that we are waiting for our new vehicles. We had 2 vans that had lifts, and we are now down to 1, as one was deemed unsafe. So we're just waiting for those to come in.
you able to, like, are you able to fix them, to find someone to fix them?
We had it down at the Rockford Mass Transit, or I'm sorry, not Rockford, Springfield Mass Transit, and in hopes that they would be able to fix it. And they were the ones that were like, yeah, there's not too much fixing we can do. So what it is the bottom of the van has a lot of rust on it, and there was a soft spot. And so it was deemed unsafe because somebody could have fallen through it. So in order to fix that, basically they were going to have to rebuild the whole bottom, and that would have been tens of thousands of dollars. So which we've put in to get 2 new ones. We're just waiting for them. I've not heard like even an approximate date. So we only have one van with a lift. We do have the minivans that have the ramps, but sometimes the lifts are a little bit easier for everyone. So just fingers crossed that our one that we have doesn't fail us.
Well, that's tough. I'm sorry to hear that. I did get a note from Jody at CEPCO as well. I have to jump off, but also getting ready for school to start. How about Renee Razzo?
Hi. Just to go off of what Jim had said, that there is also a second dementia-friendly community in our service area, which is Eureka. They got designation after Washington did, but aside from that, I don't have any other updates.
Looks like we have another message from Audra Miles. She also says no updates for Fulton County. How about Angel with City Lift and County Link?
Good afternoon. Not a whole lot to report. Just the usual.
I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you. On our end, it's a little bit soft. We're going to increase the volume on our end. So give us just a couple seconds there.
Okay.
Just want to make sure we can hear everyone okay. Because it kind of fluctuates. So we'll let you know when that is ready. Okay, try that, Angel.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, that's perfect.
Okay, great. All I was saying is I don't have a lot of extra information to report. Shammer mentioned about the WOW event we participated in. We had 2 vehicles there and provided transportation to 1 individual. And other than that, it's this same old story with driver shortages. We are actively recruiting. We actually have a hiring event on Thursday. We have postings all over Facebook and some other social media platforms trying to get people interested into the job. We've done 2 interviews today already from people who had applied through the job fair, but of course, if we can get them in early, we're gonna. Unfortunately, we have the last couple classes we had several individuals who did not make it for various qualification issues, as well as not understanding the role of what a driver does and not being able to fulfill that. We do have 1 person in training right now. He's in BT, behind the wheel training, and we have 1 that started classroom today. Hopefully next week we hope to have a minimum of 4 people in class, and we'll see how this hiring event goes. The last hiring event we had over 100 people who registered. Only a little over 20 people who arrived, and we that group we only were able to offer 4 due to various qualification issues. So the hunt is always on. We're working with CityLink on some options to assist with that, and Kofi's been really great about working with us. So we hope to work on a few different items. They have taken a few of my great people, but I'm very happy for them. They're doing it. They're really special people, and so we're a big family, just live in different houses, but we're all working together to try to get the job done.
All right, moving on to Craig Boynton.
Good afternoon. I apologize for not being able to be there in person today. We are in the process of, we have our consultant here this week performing some functions with the transit study. We have already met with local groups at the Galesburg Public Library last night to discuss the transit outreach, as well as we met with one small community this morning, and we have 2 more scheduled this week, as well as meeting with our TAC committee. As many of you may be aware, we are in the process of expanding our services from not only Galesburg to also service all of Knox County. So that is in process right now. And last night at our city council meeting, we also had approval for new dispatch software. So we are looking forward to putting the pen and paper away and be able to do this on the computer.
That's great. What's the timeline on that study?
So it's going to be kind of a 2-part process, because Nelson Nygaard is working with us. They should have their portion of it completed by September timeframe, with final report probably in October. And then we will also be required to do what is known as a primer process with another member of IDOT. And that process will help us determine funding.
Sounds good. Next, I believe we have Chris Mitchell on the phone. Do you have any updates you'd like to share?
Yes, I do. I want to thank City Lift for making it possible to attend the WOW event. Getting home is just as important as getting there, and I sometimes split my way. And I also have heard and seen, because, you know, I live in an independent living apartment house, and most of my neighbors are older and in their 90s. And we need to address somehow throughout the region what to do about lifts, because they've been sending one of my neighbors a vehicle that they say she can't use the lift, and she wasn't prepared for that. And she wanted to be a standee on the lift, and they didn't want that, and it affects medical care. Then they can't get to the appointment, and the communication breaks down. And so how do we help people in that circumstance? Because the communication, the transportation was coming from Stark County, and you know, she couldn't get on the bus, and she's, if she couldn't get on the bus, I wouldn't be able to get on the bus, you know, like a van. And so how do we solve that to help people ahead of time? And the organization that's spending the mileage, that was one of the questions that came up. I truly enjoyed the WOW event and meeting all the people. And we did draw families this time. And that was a good thing from my perspective. So I just appreciate this meeting and being able to attend on the phone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate the feedback. And did I get everyone online? Make sure. Or on the phone. All right. So that is the end of that agenda item. So we just have a few more. We've been to the end of the hour. So I've got my HSTP coordinator report, which is very short. So last time, if you recall, I sent out the surveys. There's 4 different surveys. There's a rider, community, agency, and provider. And admittedly, I forgot to follow up as much as I would like to, so we got very low responses. But and originally I had set today as the deadline. But I think I'm going to reach out specifically to some of the agencies and providers just to help ask how I can help and we can get a little bit more feedback. And I think, Craig, you said in Galesburg you had already done a survey that was similar. And so if you have those results you want to share, then we can use those as well. So you don't have to re-survey your people.
Will do. Thank you.
Excellent. All right. So besides that, the only other thing is just one quick note for the urbanized area. So the section 5310 funding is urbanized funding that we're able to use just in the Pekin urbanized area, and we had a call for projects, and we did it a little bit differently this year. We combined it with several other programs that Tri-County helps administer funding. So we allowed people to, if they were doing like a road reconstruction project, that if they have something that could loop into 5310, they could tack on that extra application. So we still need to go through the details of them. Some of these, I will say, are not, they're either not eligible or some submitted a project that was over the available amount. But we did receive 6 submissions. They requested far and above more than what we have to give. But it's good because in the past we've struggled to get submissions to use up the funding that we have. That we have available 178,000, and we'll work with our urban committee members to help distribute those funds. So that is a federal program, so from the Federal Transit Administration, specifically to improve mobility for seniors with disabilities. And that is all I have for my coordinators report, unless anybody has any questions. Moving on to other, the only other thing listed is our next meeting is Tuesday, October 1st at noon. Likely in this room again, but I'm always open to, if somebody wants to switch it up, we can do something different. It's not written in the law that we always have to meet here. So I'm open. If anyone has other ideas, we could take a field trip of some sort. So just in general. But does anyone have any other? There are other rooms either in Peoria or outside of Peoria. And
I still have an issue with having to come here and establish a quorum and vote with the urbanized folks. Why do the outlying people need to be here when I can see it and hear it better at home, especially the audio? AC in here is terrible. I have an issue with why I have to spend 3 hours of my time and 70 miles to come here for something that 99% of the time does not pertain to.
I would love to have more ideas for the rural areas.
That's fine, but until we do have something, and if there's something on the agenda that does pertain to us and is important, I have no problem driving in here. But again, the vast majority of the time, there's nothing here. Sorry, but there's.
Well, I hear you. I hope to make that better. I wish the law were different. That is one thing I cannot change. The Open Meetings Act, they changed it for COVID to allow everyone to be online or by phone. But now it's in the law that says that to be able to vote, you have to be in person.
But we just voted today and did not have a quorum. I am not part of that quorum. I couldn't have voted from home anymore. So.
Right. If my long-term vision is to have more folks come. We have a lot of people who write holiday and they don't ever respond because they're not here. So that's a bigger issue I've been trying to fix. And I would love to have higher response because that is a problem. And I don't want anybody feeling like their time is wasted. So I'm sorry you feel that way, but I do hear you. Any other comments? Okay, well, we are, I'll will adjourn the meeting. It's 12:57. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So you guys, I sent you the